Federation Control, this is Captain Aria Elvire. You better have a damn good reason for firing on my ship. Static hissed ominously in response. Aria's eyes narrowed as crimson warnings flashed across the starship's console. She gripped the chair's armrests tightly, feeling the hum of the damaged ship vibrating beneath her fingertips. Captain Elvire, crackled a cold, clipped voice through her comms, filled with an authority that grated against her nerves. Your approach to human space violates Federation Decree 318. Retreat immediately or we will disable your vessel permanently. Aria paused, heart hammering sharply in her chest. The border hung like an invisible curtain just beyond her viewport, an opaque mystery, cloaked in secrecy. No maps existed of the territory ahead, none dared to ask why. But Aria refused to be silenced, her family's unexplained deaths and border skirmishes fueling her determination. No, Aria whispered fiercely to herself, the memory of her father's smiling eyes burned into her consciousness. He deserved answers. She activated her internal comm, barking orders with practiced authority. Lieutenant Jonas, report. Jonas' steady voice replied instantly. Engines at 70%, Captain. Shields dropping. Another direct hit, and we're space debris. Redirect power from non-essential systems, Aria commanded sharply. Steady on course. Jonas hesitated, concern creeping into his usually unshakable tone. Captain, are you sure? We crossed that line, there's no turning back. Aria breathed deeply, fighting down doubt. I'm counting on it. Seconds stretched tensely as the ship shuddered under another grazing blast from Federation weapons. Lights flickered, the scent of overheated circuits lingered in the air, acrid and metallic. Captain, Jonas reported urgently, incoming transmission, Overseer Tyther Rakan. The screen flickered. Rakan's imposing face appeared, angular features, cold obsidian eyes, gray-blue scales shimmering under stark bridge lights. Authority radiated from him effortlessly, filling the small bridge. Captain Elvire, Rakan spoke, voice dripping disdain. This is your final warning. Retreat. You know the consequences. Aria matched his gaze, defiant. You're hiding something, Overseer. Federation maps end at human space, your rules forbid contact. Why? Rakan's eyes narrowed dangerously. Certain truths protect us from annihilation. Do not test them. I deserve answers, Aria countered sharply, leaning forward. My father deserved answers. For a heartbeat, Rakan hesitated, his expression flickering, betraying something deeper, darker. The moment vanished quickly behind his cold mask. Your father learned the cost of curiosity. Don't repeat his mistake. The screen went black, and silence pressed like heavy air around Aria's shoulders. She straightened resolutely, heart heavy yet purpose renewed. The stakes sharpened, truth against life, knowledge against fear. She'd chosen her side. Jonas, full speed ahead. The lieutenant responded firmly, trust evident in every word, aye, Captain. Federation ships loomed menacingly behind, but hesitation shackled them at the forbidden border. Their weapons ceased fire. An eerie calm settled, oppressive in its unnatural silence. Ahead lay only darkness, a veil shielding countless secrets. Aria exhaled, tension slowly bleeding from her shoulders. She turned to Jonas, her voice quieter but steady. What's our status? We've stabilized at 75% efficiency, Jonas answered promptly. But whatever's out here, Captain, it's not on any Federation charts. Aria nodded, thoughtful. Exactly. Any signals at all? None, reported Communications Officer Alara, apprehension clear on her young, earnest face. Silent as a tomb. That silence held too much weight, suggesting hidden dangers and lost histories. The bridge crew exchanged uneasy glances, tension palpable in the strained quiet. Suddenly, sensors pinged sharply, shattering the quiet. Jonas turned sharply. Captain, unidentified vessel drifting ahead. Human design, no signs of life. Aria leaned forward urgently, pulse quickening again. Human? Yes, Jonas confirmed gravely. But it's dead. No energy signatures detected. Arya felt something stir inside her, a cold, foreboding curiosity. She stood swiftly, urgency sharpening her voice. Bring us closer. Maintain scans. Minutes later, the derelict loomed into view, ghostly in the dim starlight, an elegant relic crafted by human hands, its hull marked by ancient scars. Arya's heart tightened. Something felt deeply wrong, a silent warning from the abyss. Elara, can we establish remote access to its logs? Arya asked quickly. Elara nodded nervously. I'll try. Stand by. Arya waited anxiously, watching holographic images ripple, struggling to connect with the ship's systems. Jonas quietly stepped closer, concern etched on his hardened features. Captain, are you prepared for what we might find? She sighed, gaze fixed on the drifting tomb. Whatever's out here, Jonas, the Federation fears it enough to silence anyone who asks questions. That makes finding answers even more important. Elara's startled cries snapped their attention back. Captain! A signal, distress beacon from within. Arya straightened, adrenaline flooding her veins. Life signs? No, but the beacon just activated automatically, Elara explained nervously. It's broadcasting a Federation warning, Omega Protocol. Jonas exchanged an uncertain look with Arya. What the hell is Omega Protocol? Arya shook her head slowly, pulse racing. Something the Federation desperately wants buried. Another sudden alarm flashed urgently across consoles, Elara's panicked voice cutting the tension sharply. Captain! Federation ships crossing the border behind us, pursuing. Shock rippled through the crew, disbelieving stares exchanged rapidly. Jonas spoke urgently, dread tightening his tone. The Federation never crosses that border. What changed? Arya narrowed her eyes, clarity dawning ominously. They'd rather risk the consequences than let us reveal their secret. What secret could be worth breaking centuries-old laws? Jonas asked, incredulous. Humanity itself, Arya answered firmly, conviction stealing her voice. Whatever we're about to uncover threatens everything the Federation built. She stepped toward the viewport resolutely, determination reignited like a flame. Prepare a boarding party. Time to learn what the Federation fears. The crew immediately scrambled into action, urgency propelling their movements. Yet Arya stood quietly a moment longer, eyes fixed ahead. Somewhere within the abandoned human ship waited answers, answers bought by generations of silence, guarded by ruthless secrecy. Now the maps ended and true exploration began, into shadows cast by humanity's secrets. And Arya Elvir would uncover them, whatever the cost. Arya's heart raced as her boarding shuttle eased into the derelict vessel's silent docking bay. Gravity had long since failed aboard the human ship, leaving crew members floating in tense silence, guided by flashlight beams slicing through the darkness. Every shadow hinted at something sinister lurking just beyond sight. Jonas drifted beside her, voice tight with unease. It's colder than I expected. It's lifeless, Arya replied quietly, her breath forming tiny clouds. But something activated that beacon. Stay alert. The boarding hatch opened with a ghostly hiss, revealing corridors lined with unfamiliar technology, sleek and elegant, yet hauntingly abandoned. Tiny ice crystals glittered gently, suspended like distant stars frozen in place. Scan everything, Arya instructed the team softly. Whatever happened here, we need answers quickly. Captain, Jonas whispered, examining frozen markings on the wall. Look at this. Arya pushed herself closer. Faint writing remained visible beneath the ice. A chill unrelated to the cold brushed her spine. Omega Protocol, isolation enacted. Protection above all. She frowned. Isolation? Why would humanity seal themselves off deliberately? Before Jonas could answer, Elara's urgent voice crackled through their comms. Captain, I've accessed the main logs, partial corruption, but some entries remain. Patch them through, Arya said instantly. A moment later, a shaky hologram flickered into existence. A weary human captain appeared, his youthful face lined by exhaustion, eyes haunted. "This is Captain Marcus Reed, commanding the Starship Horizon. Date irrelevant, no one will find this in time. Omega Protocol initiated across all human worlds. Humanity discovered something incredible but terrifying, technological capabilities beyond our moral capacity." Reed paused, glancing fearfully behind him. "We hid ourselves to protect the Federation. No one can know what we found. It would destroy the galaxy." Static overtook the image, cutting him off sharply. Arya exchanged a tense look with Jonas, dread settling heavily within her chest. What could humanity discover so powerful they'd erase themselves from existence? "Something even Rakan fears," Jonas replied quietly. Before Arya could respond, Alera's voice returned anxiously. "Captain, Federation ships approaching weapons range. They're demanding our surrender, immediately." Arya clenched her jaw, mind racing. "Stall them. Find anything else?" "Maybe," Alera answered nervously. "There's a restricted data vault deeper inside, heavily shielded." "Let's move," Arya ordered without hesitation. Their flashlights sliced urgently through darkness as they navigated twisting corridors. Ghostly echoes of the past drifted around them, abandoned living quarters, personal belongings frozen mid-use, silent reminders of lives abruptly interrupted. Jonas moved beside her carefully. "It's as if they vanished instantly." "What happened here?" "Omega Protocol happened," Arya answered gravely. "Humanity chose exile over catastrophe. They reached the vault swiftly, its reinforced doors imposing, etched deeply with warnings in faded red, authorized personnel only." "Captain," Jonas warned cautiously, "if humans sealed this for the galaxy's protection, should we open it?" Arya hesitated briefly. Her father's face flashed vividly before her eyes, his life traded in pursuit of truth. She couldn't stop now. "Humanity left warnings to keep the Federation safe," she finally said firmly. "But Rakan already knows something. The secret's out, our only path is forward." Arya keyed in the override sequence from Alera's decrypted logs. The heavy doors groaned apart slowly, stale air rushing out with a whispering sigh. Inside waited row upon row of crystalline data drives, softly pulsing blue in the gloom. Jonas stepped forward, scanning carefully. These contain massive data archives, advanced schematics, even weapons beyond Federation imagination. Arya's heart quickened nervously. "Weapons?" "Yes," Jonas confirmed solemnly. "Yet untouched for centuries." Before she could respond, a blinding flash burst suddenly from one crystal, projecting another hologram. Captain Reed appeared again, urgency raw in his voice. "If you've opened this vault, the Federation discovered humanity's secret. These archives hold the darkest knowledge ever conceived: quantum weapons, unstoppable machines, biological horrors capable of rewriting entire worlds." Reed's image trembled, voice shaking with sorrow. "We stumbled blindly into nightmares. Self-imposed isolation was our redemption. If you're watching this, our choice failed." His gaze hardened sharply. "Now it's your choice, hide this truth or plunge the galaxy into chaos." The hologram vanished abruptly, plunging the vault into oppressive silence. Arya swallowed hard, anxiety twisting sharply in her stomach. Jonas faced her grimly. "Now we know why Rakan wants this buried. He fears what the Federation would do with human technology," Arya replied bitterly. "Yet he pursued us here. Why risk exposing it himself?" "Control," Jonas said thoughtfully. "Whoever controls humanity's secrets dominates the galaxy." "Captain!" Alera's panicked voice jolted them suddenly. "Federation boarding parties breaching our ship, Rakan himself is leading them." Arya's pulse surged sharply. "Can we hold them off?" "No," Alera answered desperately. "They're too powerful." "Withdraw to the shuttle immediately," Arya ordered quickly. "Jonas, download whatever files we can. Destroy the rest." "Captain?" Jonas questioned, surprised. Arya met his gaze directly. We cannot let Rakan possess these weapons. Humanity made the ultimate sacrifice to shield the galaxy from itself. We'll finish what they started. Jonas nodded resolutely, swiftly inserting data modules into his suit. Arya activated the autodestruct sequence carefully. A quiet, ominous countdown began within the vault. Together they raced toward the docking bay, urgency propelling them faster. Yet, just steps away from escape, Rakan appeared, blocking their path, flanked by armed Federation guards, his dark eyes narrowed dangerously. You've seen humanity's true nature, Captain, Rakan sneered coldly. Give me the data, and perhaps I'll spare your crew. Your ambition endangers trillions, Arya retorted fiercely. Humanity protected you. I'll do no less. Rakan's expression darkened murderously. You humans always thought yourselves superior, deciding what's best for the galaxy. We decided peace mattered more than power, Arya fired back sharply. Something you'll never understand. The countdown reached 0. Explosions shook the corridor violently, lights flickering chaotically. Rakan stumbled, distracted momentarily. Move! Arya shouted to Jonas. They sprinted past Rakan, slipping narrowly aboard their shuttle as the derelict collapsed inward, fire engulfing humanity's secrets forever. Breathless, Arya activated controls, rocketing them away into open space. Jonas turned to her solemnly. Captain, what now? We show the Federation the truth, Arya said determinedly, eyes bright with conviction. Humanity gave us a chance. We won't waste it. Behind them, the burning human ship faded slowly, leaving darkness and newfound hope stretching infinitely ahead. The shuttle trembled fiercely as Arya raced toward her ship, Federation cruisers looming ominously behind. Her fingers danced swiftly across the controls, heartbeat matching the frantic rhythm of warning alerts flooding the cockpit. Glancing at Jonas, she saw resolve mirrored in his eyes, hardened by everything they'd discovered. They won't let us leave easily, Jonas warned tersely. Rakan will fight to bury this. Arya's jaw tightened. We won't let him silence us. A flash erupted nearby, a direct energy pulse narrowly missing the shuttle. Arya twisted sharply, evading with practiced precision. Elara, she called urgently over comms. Status? Elara's anxious voice crackled immediately. We regained engine power, Captain. Dock fast, we're preparing emergency jump. As Arya guided the shuttle home, Rakan's furious voice erupted through the comm, harshly authoritative. Captain Elvir, surrender those stolen files immediately. The Federation's survival depends on it. Humanity chose isolation to protect you, Arya retorted coldly, defiance clear. You're chasing a nightmare. Humanity is the nightmare, Rakan hissed bitterly. Unchecked, their ambition would ignite galactic chaos. Arya paused briefly, processing the anger beneath his words. Or is that your ambition? Rakan fell into dangerous silence, momentarily exposed. Arya seized the chance, docking swiftly aboard her ship. Immediately, Jonas transferred the recovered human archives to the main database, fingers trembling slightly from adrenaline and urgency. Arya reached the bridge as Elara prepared their jump. But Federation cruisers surrounded them closely, weapons primed threateningly. Jonas whispered urgently, Captain, they'll fire the second we engage. Arya considered their slim options, fear overshadowed by clarity. Then we'll outsmart them. Captain, Rakan's voice returned, forceful but strained. You don't understand. Humanity's technology is too dangerous. The Federation must control it. You mean you must control it, Arya countered fiercely. Humans protected you from yourselves, yet you'd risk war to seize their power. For a brief moment, Rakan hesitated, torn by conflicted impulses. Then his voice hardened again. Fire. Weapons discharged simultaneously, streams of devastating energy racing toward Arya's ship. Crew members tensed, bracing for impact. But suddenly, the surrounding space shimmered vibrantly, a brilliant barrier of energy erupting between them and certain death. What's happening? Elara gasped. Arya watched, stunned. From hidden alcoves within human space emerged sleek drones, gleaming like quicksilver, elegantly powerful and utterly alien to Federation designs. Effortlessly, these sentinels neutralized incoming fire, protecting the starship from harm. A resonant voice, deep and oddly gentle, filled the bridge. Omega Protocol breached. Defensive measures activated. Federation aggression neutralized. Jonas exchanged a stunned glance with Arya. Human automated defenses, still active after centuries? Exactly, Arya whispered softly, astonished and relieved. Federation ships hovered nervously, their weapons powerless against humanity's guardians. Racken's desperate voice cracked through comms, fear finally evident. Captain, what have you awakened? Arya felt suddenly calm, clarity crystallizing. The truth humanity left behind. Listen carefully, Racken. She activated the recovered human archives, broadcasting widely. Across every Federation vessel, Reed's hologram appeared, weary yet resolute. We isolated ourselves not from hatred but love, for your survival, Reed's solemn voice echoed powerfully. Our discoveries granted terrifying power, too dangerous to wield, too tempting for domination. Omega Protocol was humanity's sacrifice for galactic peace. The hologram vanished slowly, leaving stunned silence. Arya spoke directly, voice steady. Humanity understood their strength threatened freedom and life itself. Racken seeks what humanity feared most, unlimited power. A long pause settled over communications, uneasy silence hanging thickly. Federation commanders remained frozen, weapons inactive. Finally, Racken responded quietly, shaken. Do you trust humanity's words so blindly, Captain? I trust actions, Arya answered firmly. Humanity vanished to spare us. Your Federation risks all for greed. You decide who deserves trust. Another silence lingered heavily before Racken, defeated, muttered a reluctant reply. Federation forces, withdraw. Slowly, Federation vessels drifted back beyond the boundary, leaving Arya's ship suspended peacefully near the Guardian drones. The strange, protective machines hovered serenely, waiting patiently. Elara spoke hesitantly, amazed. Captain, they're signaling you. Arya watched curiously as the central drone projected a gentle hologram, human-shaped but composed purely of flowing energy. The figure inclined its head softly in greeting. Captain Elvire, it spoke gently. You have shown wisdom, restraint, and courage. Omega Protocol was our penance, our hope. You honored it. Arya stepped forward, awe softening her voice. Your human intelligence? Echoes of it, the figure corrected calmly. Guardians left behind to ensure Federation safety. Your actions proved humanity's faith and kindness justified. Jonas asked carefully, and now? Now, humanity's isolation may end, it answered smoothly. Caution remains vital, but perhaps understanding can grow. The hologram faded peacefully, leaving only the warm afterglow of its presence. Arya turned to Jonas, expression thoughtful yet hopeful. We've earned another chance, she said quietly, emotions blending relief with cautious optimism. But peace requires trust, something Racken lacks. Jonas nodded gravely. Can the Federation learn from humanity's sacrifice? Arya sighed softly, eyes gazing toward infinite stars stretching endlessly. They must. Humanity taught us power without conscience destroys everything. Silence enveloped the crew briefly, profound and reflective. Then Elara's hopeful voice broke gently. Captain, where now? Arya smiled faintly, conviction brightening her eyes. Forward. We'll carry humanity's lessons home, teach Federation worlds the wisdom of peace. Jonas touched controls lightly, turning the ship toward familiar territory. The drones parted respectfully, guardians escorting humanity's truth back into the galaxy. Arya stood thoughtfully, heart heavy yet hopeful. Humanity chose exile for peace, an example of strength tempered by compassion, power balanced by conscience. Their isolation had ended, and their true legacy began anew. She knew challenges remained, fears, tensions, uncertainties lingering dangerously, but hope endured stubbornly, illuminating the path ahead. And Aria Elvire would walk it bravely, guided forever by humanity's silent wisdom. The moment Aria's starship docked at Federation Central, tension saturated every corridor. News of humanity's protective isolation and Racken's betrayal spread swiftly. Eyes followed her silently, uncertain whispers rippling through the ranks of aliens and Federation officials gathered at the Central Assembly Chamber. Jonas stepped carefully beside her, wary yet resolute. "Captain, are you prepared for this?" "Prepared?" Aria gave a faint smile. "No. But ready." The assembly hall doors hissed open, revealing 1,000 pairs of eyes fixed on her. At the center stood Racken, stripped of authority, standing defiantly beside the Federation Council's elders. High Chancellor Nyril, the wise and respected leader, spoke solemnly. "Captain Aria Elvire, you return carrying truths we long refused to face. Speak clearly, what have you learned of humanity?" Aria stepped forward confidently, feeling the heavy silence. Humanity discovered power beyond understanding, yet chose self-exile rather than endanger others. They hid themselves, protecting us even from ourselves. Quiet murmurs filled the chamber. Racken interrupted bitterly. "Idealistic tales. Humanity kept their technology to dominate when the Federation was weak." Aria turned sharply, her eyes locked intensely onto his. Humanity's weapons could have conquered the galaxy effortlessly. Yet they vanished willingly. Ambition drove you, Overseer, not humanity. Racken sneered, "Your naive faith risks Federation survival." "No," Aria retorted sharply. "Fear destroys faster than faith." Chancellor Nyril raised his hand, silencing them. "Captain Elvire, your testimony challenges everything we've known. Yet, we must understand clearly, what does humanity want now?" Aria paused, emotions swirling within her. Humanity's guardians offered peace, Chancellor. They sacrificed isolation to preserve our unity. Now, we must decide if we deserve their trust. The Chancellor nodded thoughtfully, eyes solemnly contemplating Aria's words. "But can we control ourselves?" Racken's actions showed our deepest flaws, greed and fear. "Flaws," Aria answered carefully, "exist in every species. Humans feared their own power. Yet their final choice was compassion, not conquest." The assembly murmured thoughtfully. Chancellor Nyril spoke directly. "And you trust humanity, Captain?" "I trust their example," she replied without hesitation. "Self-sacrifice over power. Courage over control." A contemplative silence followed. Chancellor Nyril turned slowly toward Racken. "Overseer, your position is suspended. You'll stand trial for endangering Federation security." Racken glared fiercely, betrayal etched deeply into his face. "You're fools. Humans deceived you all." Security escorted him swiftly from the chamber. Chancellor Nyril turned once more toward Aria. "Captain, your actions place the galaxy on a new path. The responsibility is heavy, are you ready to carry it?" Aria nodded gently, voice calm yet determined. "Together, Chancellor, we'll bear it." 2 weeks later, Aria walked quietly through Federation archives, alone except for Jonas. Holographic records of humanity shimmered around her, their history fascinating yet bittersweet. Jonas studied one carefully. They advanced so far, so quickly. Imagine what we lost by their exile. Aria sighed softly. Yet imagine what we gained, peace and survival. Jonas smiled faintly. Humanity's strength wasn't their technology, it was their restraint. Precisely, a familiar voice gently added behind them. Aria turned sharply, astonished to see Chancellor Nyril quietly approaching. The elderly leader gazed thoughtfully at a human artifact, an intricate metallic puzzle suspended within a crystal case. "I've studied humanity deeply since your return," Nyril continued softly. "Their sacrifice humbled me profoundly." "They acted wisely," Aria agreed respectfully. "Their choice showed courage we must emulate." Nyril nodded. Yet many worlds fear humanity. Trust requires proof. Arya smiled faintly, heart gently hopeful. Then we'll provide proof. Days later, at the edge of human space, a massive Federation delegation carefully awaited the Guardians' response. Anxiety lingered heavily among the officials and ambassadors, uncertainty apparent. Suddenly, a familiar silvery drone emerged silently from darkness. It projected the serene hologram representing humanity's consciousness. Federation delegation, it spoke gently, reassuringly. Your presence signals readiness to embrace understanding. What do you seek? Chancellor Nyril stepped forward respectfully. We seek forgiveness for ignorance, partnership and peace. The Guardian nodded calmly. Forgiveness was given centuries ago. Humanity's isolation was protection, never punishment. Arya stepped beside Nyril, gently asking, and now? Now, the Guardian replied softly, humanity's legacy becomes yours, wisdom, peace, restraint. You must uphold it. We will, Arya answered firmly. The Guardian gently extended a glowing hand, symbolic yet powerful. Chancellor Nyril accepted reverently, signifying alliance. Humanity's isolation ends, the Guardian announced calmly. Yet caution remains. Federation unity depends upon compassion, respect, humility. Nyril bowed deeply. We'll honor humanity's sacrifice. Your wisdom guides us. The Guardian faded quietly into darkness, leaving peace gently shimmering behind. Arya exchanged a hopeful glance with Nyril, relieved tension lifting away. Now begins the hard work, the Chancellor acknowledged gently. Arya nodded. But worth every effort. Months passed swiftly. Federation worlds cautiously embraced humanity's wisdom. Fear transformed slowly to respect, distrust into cautious cooperation. Arya watched carefully, hopeful yet vigilant. Eventually, news reached her that Rakan awaited sentencing. Curious, Arya visited him quietly in his detention cell. Captain Elvir, Rakan greeted bitterly. Satisfied with my downfall? No, Arya replied calmly, thoughtfully. Only saddened you couldn't see beyond fear. Rakan stared at her silently, expression softening briefly. Humanity frightened me deeply. Their potential terrified my dreams. And yet they never harmed you, Arya countered softly. Fear harmed you. Rakan hesitated, voice lowered. Perhaps. But how do you erase fear completely? You don't, Arya admitted quietly. You replace it with courage. He nodded slowly, deeply reflective. Then perhaps your Federation can succeed. She left silently, strangely hopeful. Later, alone on her ship's bridge, Arya gazed toward human space thoughtfully. Humanity's courage shaped her profoundly, teaching compassion as power's greatest companion. Jonas approached gently, interrupting her reflection softly. Captain, another mission? Arya smiled quietly, turning toward him. Always. Where now? He asked respectfully. She glanced again toward distant stars. Forward, Jonas. Always forward. As their ship drifted into starlit darkness, Arya's heart filled quietly with gratitude and quiet optimism. Humanity sacrificed isolation for peace. Now she'd carry that legacy forward, hopeful that courage could unite the galaxy as fear never could.